It is Thursday, August 18th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, a guy who's willing to come to your neighborhood to break up a cat fight, J.P. Shadrick.
Well, maybe. Careful. Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. My name's J.P. Shadrick. We'll leave that one alone. Here's what's coming up. Busy show ahead. Busy couple hours, in fact. It's preseason week 2. The Pittsburgh Steelers come to town this Saturday night. We'll discuss the Jaguars starters and their playing time. Doug Pederson announced that today. Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman standing by to join us. And then the Doug Pederson Show at 5 o'clock on the Jaguars radio network. No Doug tonight. We'll hear a lot from Doug Pederson, though. He spoke today before practice, the final practice at the Episcopal School of Jacksonville Sports Campus. Well, let's start with head coach Doug Pederson. The question today, the final press conference for Doug Pederson before that week 2 preseason game. Well, he was asked, of course, about the starters in that game against the Steelers. How long will they go this week?
From a playing standpoint, I definitely want to see the starters go into the second quarter again this week. I think our defense needs to be on the field a little bit more. They've played well in the first 2 games. They just haven't played long enough. So I definitely want to see them play a little bit more. Offensively, if we can do the things we did last week and sort of clean up some of the execution things, into the second quarter.
And he mentioned that the defense just hasn't played a lot. They've played well. Well, last week they allowed 10 yards and got a takeaway in 3 possessions for the Browns starting offense, against the Browns starting offense. The front 7 had a bunch of guys out in the Hall of Fame game, so they just need a little more time on task, and you'll see that apparently Saturday evening. Well, Pederson still has his eyes on the right tackle battle. It's still raging, of course, for Walker Little and Jawan Taylor.
It's an interesting battle. I think this game will be important for both players. I like how Jawan's responded coming off the injury and how he played last week and how he's practiced. Walker's done an outstanding job as well. So it's very interesting, for us. We're kind of in a good spot with it because you can kind of go either way and the other guy can be the swing tackle or whatever. So I think this week will be important, and then even when we go to Atlanta and practice against Atlanta will be another good opportunity for both of them.
Yeah, the game coming up Saturday, 2 practices against the Atlanta Falcons next week in Flowery Branch, and we'll see about playing time, if any. Who knows by then? They might have decided it by the end of those practices. And finally, saying thanks to the Episcopal School of Jacksonville on the final day of practice at the Night Sports Campus.
My hat's off to Episcopal for allowing us to, come out here and sort of invade their space a little bit. Also to our grounds crew to put these fields down and really a lot of work and a lot of man hours went into, getting us over here. From the buses every day to, just the timing of everything. And I just can't say enough good things about this situation. The guys have really enjoyed it, kind of getting away from our building a little bit and getting outside here, and it's been really good, and we've been very fortunate to have this.
That's head coach Doug Pederson. Of course, after practice today, the head of school, the Reverend Adam Green, and the director of athletics, Andy Kidd, were invited by Pederson to break down the team. 13 of the first 14 practices of training camp were at those fields for Episcopal, and those fields now return to the Episcopal soccer and lacrosse teams. Jeff Lageman joins me now, who's you played a lot of soccer and lacrosse. I could feel that.
Yeah. I was big into soccer and lacrosse.
Nice.
Now, I appreciate the sports, but never played them.
Pretty cool, though, to have that opportunity to go over to Episcopal, and they open their doors. The Jaguars put in the fields, and it was really a nice team effort for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I got to say that I had numerous conversations with a lot of different people in the Jaguars organization as far as the utilization of that field, and they said tremendous. They were actually anticipating maybe some complications, issues, difficulties with it. But they said it has been flawless. And so there's a lot of people that need credit for that. And and I'm not going to go down the list, but for everybody that had a part in that, congratulations, you did an amazing job. I'm kind of surprised that this is the last day that will be utilized by the Jaguars. I would understand it maybe if Episcopal had some pressing events that needed to get out there on those fields, but for the most part, school is in session when the Jaguars have been practicing, and why not take advantage of maybe utilizing those fields for a little bit longer to keep some of the pressure or the wear and tear off of the stadium field, because that's where they're going to be going next.
Right. Well, I think there are plans throughout the season to resurface the game field a number of times.
Right, but I
Especially
mean, that's
they have it ready to go.
Can't do it every week, And
right. So they've got to pick their spots. Especially the
Right.
real tricky part will be middle of the season, October, because there's 2 college football games on it. The Jaguars are home a lot in that month. Early in the season, they're gone 3 out of 4 weeks to start the season. Same in December as well. So they've scheduled it out. I think they're going to work it out and see if they can manage it. I
can tell you this: the grounds crew that, first of all, they were the ones that helped get this new field established over there at Episcopal, and it's the Jaguars ground crew over here at TIAA Bank Stadium. That what's amazing to me is that they're going to be, I'm talking about having an incredibly busy year. I mean, if you're going to resod that field twice and then get that thing up to NFL standards on game days, wow. Kudos to those guys because they did a marvelous job. And I'm kind of going to miss it a little bit, It's pretty cool to go over there. It feels like training camp. When you go away, it always feels like training camp for a player,
It was nice to hop on the shuttle in the morning. The sun's coming up. It's 7 o'clock. Birds are chirping. Gnats are biting your legs.
Yeah,
it's like you're out there.
Is 100%.
The whole thing. It was nice to kind of get your head right and get over there.
The bus service, I'm sure that they're going to have to do a deep cleaning on the buses now.
Oh, yeah. Right, after practice. All the players coming back.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so Doug Pederson today asked, of course, the question about starters and playing time in preseason week 2. We just heard from him there. Well, into the second quarter, he said. He didn't promise the third quarter. A lot of times in the dress rehearsal game, if you will, you might see guys come out at halftime. He didn't necessarily say they weren't doing that, but he said into the second quarter again. So it kind of feels like almost halftime, or at least halftime to me.
Well, he didn't promise the whole second quarter.
That's right.
So a lot of this could be performance related. A lot of this could be, okay, let's see what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing so that if they have their guys out there, then we want to have our guys out there because that's the best reps that our guys can get. And if their ones are out, why would we leave our ones to go against twos? Because you want to have the competition of their best against your best. That's what you have a preseason game for. If it's not that, then you're like, okay, what do we gain by having our guys out there? So I think it's going to be an interesting watch, but nonetheless, I'm excited about seeing a lot of different guys that we haven't seen yet. Christian Kirk, Jamal Agnew on the offensive side of the ball. I want to see Trevor not have kind of a slow start. I want to see him come out of the gate fast. I want to see the defense more consistent. There's so many different things that you want to see because I got a feeling, JP,
yes,
this is the last that we're going to see of the starters because once you go to Atlanta, you have 2 days of practicing with them. And we've seen it's in the past with most NFL teams, if they have work with another team, whether it be at your place or their place, they work a couple days together, then you see no starters play because they're putting all their starters in to get those reps in the practices, and then the backups are the ones that get the majority of the preseason game action. So this could be the last opportunity for Doug Pederson's team to kind of get some of the kinks out before they open up in Washington.
So what Pederson said earlier today, we just heard that also about the defense. Well, yeah, you need to see the defense, period, right? They haven't played a lot of snaps. Last week, Trayvon Walker had 9 snaps in the game, and that means the starting defense was out there for 3 drives. They had a 3-and-out, a takeaway, another short drive, and they just got to get out there and play a little more football.
Well, you want to see the offense more too, even though the offense had more snaps, but the defense did their job. They made Deshaun Watson look terrible.
Yeah,
they made the Browns look inept on offense, and And I'm sure a lot of the fans love that just because it was Deshaun Watson leading that opposing offense. And so good for the Jaguars defense. But, yes, I think they need the challenge. They need the reps. And, look, you always feel like your guys are going to need the reps. But the reality is sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. That's the way that the current NFL is. And in some cases you're not going to have guys that get any reps at all. Devin Lloyd is not going to get any reps at all before at some point he's going to return to the starting lineup because you believe that he's one of your best linebackers. That's why you drafted him in the first round. So he's going to come into the fold kind of cold, and that's a little bit scary.
This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM. We're on Jaguars.com, Jaguars social media as well, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We're on Twitter, at JP Shadrick, at Logs56. And the Steelers-Jaguars game is brought to you by Pet Paradise, the official pet care provider of the Jaguars. Book today at petparadise.com. Let's shift now to a couple of the battles on the offensive line. All eyes are on the right tackle battle, of course, Walker Little and Jawan Taylor. Both were trading time again today. It was a light practice today. They went about half speed, no pads, all that stuff. But they were both getting time with the first team again today. And Doug Pederson was right there a moment ago saying it. Hey, this is a big game for them, and then the practice is next week. So it feels like this is far from over at right tackle.
Well, I think it's interesting for a couple reasons because last week you had Walker Little kind of in the lead. Well, Jawan Taylor was missing time with an injury, and Walker Little was in there with the starters for the entire time, and he was getting better. He plays the Hall of Fame game in Canton and does an excellent job. Well, then the next game comes. He doesn't play quite as well. Jawan plays. Now he's back in the fold, and Jawan's doing pretty good. And then the last 2 days, I thought Walker Little's fallen off a little bit.
How?
Well, give you an example. One-on-one pass rush yesterday, Smoot put him on his can.
Really?
I'm talking right on the old duff, man, right on the can. And it didn't look pretty. And so when you have plays that happen like that, then you, as a coach, I think you start to wonder, can we trust this guy? And so I think this battle has kind of wavered back and forth as to where you think it's going to go. At first you're thinking, okay, and I was thinking, okay, this is Walker Little's to lose. Well, then he's faltered a little bit after this last game and the last couple of days of practice, and Jawan has done okay. I think the reality is I'd like to see both of them do better than they're currently doing. But either way, the best situation for this team is for that competition to just continue to drag on.
Okay.
And because the best decision that you make as a coach, I think, is the one in which the players are essentially making the decision for you, to where it's very obvious. It's like staring you in the face. Hey, so-and-so's better, and if you can't see it, then you're blind. And it's not happening yet. There's still some time. You have this game, and then you have the practices with the Falcons.
Yeah.
And you still have the game with the Falcons. And if you have to, you carry that battle all the way as long as you can. But the part that I don't like is that you would like to have, Walker Little, I thought he had an opportunity to kind of cinch it this past game and in the first part of this week, and he didn't do that. And I think part of that is the little bit of a falter, but I also think it's a little bit of an improvement from Jawan Taylor. So stay tuned on that. Still keep your eyes on it because that's still a competition in progress.
We'll a little bit later discuss the other battle on the offensive line at left guard, and has been a changing of the guard, if you will. We'll get to that coming up in just a little
JP,
while.
that was brilliant.
Yeah, you see what I did there?
Changing of the guard.
See?
You've been waiting all day.
I've been holding that
line.
one in my
I know
back
you
pocket
have.
for a little while. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. We're back in a moment. We'll hear from Trevor Lawrence and the week he's had on the practice field and this offense trying to get things going heading into preseason week number 2. Of course, coming up at 5 o'clock, Doug Pederson Show. We'll hear from the head coach from throughout the week ahead of this matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we're off and running on Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Ready, set, go. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Ford dealer. Get going in a new Ford SUV or truck. Inventory is arriving daily, so get ready for the best offers of the summer on in-stock Ford vehicles. Or go custom order a 2023 Ford and lock in low financing and get big cash back. You've waited for these deals, and the wait is over. Ready, set, go to the Labor Day sales event, now through September 5th. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has been a leader in direct mail for over a decade. Using the latest technology, Kessler can now reach your ideal audience even more effectively. Choose from between a couple of response channels, from direct mail to landing pages designed to engage and initiate responses with potential customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. Jaguars Today. All Jaguars, all NFL, all the time. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
We were just talking about just so many different looks you see from our defense. It's really good for us because you see every look. So then when in the game, if they throw something at you that you didn't game plan for, you know we've already seen it on the practice field. So from that standpoint, it's great, but also it can be tough when you get in these periods where you're working third and medium to long every play, and you're seeing every different type of pressure known to man, and you can't game plan for it because they have everything in. So that's just honestly kudos to them for dialing it up today. You know, they got us on a few, and just being able to watch that tape and all of us talk about it together, how we're going to protect it, what are our route adjustments, and also protection-wise, like what would we rather be in versus certain looks. So, I mean, the more you can get of that, the better. That's just going to help us. But, yeah, it wasn't our sharpest day offensively, but that's what I was just saying. You got to really – that's one thing I've learned is you got to be focused on the next day, not worry about what just happened, what happened yesterday. Really focus on the next one.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars
Awesome.
Happy Hour. That is Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence yesterday. And Jaguars Game Day Radio is brought to you by ViStar Credit Union. Do good, bank better. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Glad you're along with us. Coming up at 5 o'clock, it's the Doug Pederson Show. We'll hear from the Jags head coach from throughout the week. Ahead of this Jaguars-Steelers matchup coming up. Well, Trevor Lawrence and the offense didn't have a great day. Let's just put it plainly on Wednesday.
That's fair.
That's a fair assessment. Some interceptions, some miscommunication in the backfield, and at least one instance I saw on a running play, they kind of ran into the running back and didn't work out. And The defense is making plays all day, and as you heard Trevor say there, blitzes, it's 3rd and long. You know they're going to come, but they were showing a bunch of different things, and it just didn't look good at all on offense on Wednesday. But, he talked a little bit about what you can take away and move forward, but at some point you still have to move forward from some of that too.
Yeah, it wasn't the best performance the other day which was yesterday for the offense. Monday night I thought they had a pretty good practice.
Oh yeah, sure.
And so now you have, one day that's pretty good, the next day that's not so great. And Trevor talked about in his press conference after the Wednesday practice about the need to find consistency. And so very true. And that offense is about consistency. Winning teams and performance is about consistency. But offense, that has to be paramount, because the more you're consistent, the more opportunities you're going to have for success as an offense. And Trevor's a big part of that. And that's part of the growth process when you're in a new system, you have new players, you have a young quarterback. That's what you're striving for every day. The one thing that I think that we'll see in the future, and JP, you and I kind of were talking about this a little bit, is that Trevor is still new in this system, and he's got a lot of new teammates, and he's got new coaches, and so that comfort level is a process, and it's still happening. And at some point when that comfort is there and the success, et cetera, is there, I don't want to say ownership, because I think he owns it now, but I think the expectation and raising the level of expectation of yourself, your own performance, and then those around you once you get your performance where it needs to be. And I don't want to say that he needs to go around and yelling at guys. That's not my point. But my point is to maybe be a little bit more vocal, and I think that will come. And Phillip Rivers is like everybody on the planet wants somebody to be like Phillip Rivers. Yeah, he's got the emotion and the facial expressions, and that's not what I'm saying that Trevor needs to be. But you want to have that more assertive comfort with your quarterback and the offense, and that takes some time. And at some point, he's going to feel that comfort, and then also the success that he has will enable him to do some of that.
There was a bunch of drops on the practice as well. It was going around. It wasn't
just
Trevor.
JP, the practice, you had
guys going off with heat or sickness or whatever. It was that.
Yeah, the one I'll never forget in the late 80s and early 90s watching a 49ers football team that was just so efficient.
Sure.
With John Taylor and Jerry Rice and Roger Craig and Joe Montana, Bill Walsh, George Seifert, because they kind of went through two different coaches there. The consistency of that football team, Tom Rathman was also a part of that. Their consistency was just so good. And the way that they practiced in San Francisco was a thing of legend, of how they ran the practice and about how efficient that they had to be. It wasn't the most physical practices, but it was efficiency. And Doug Pederson is trying to strive for the same type of thing, and obviously they've got a ways to go. And that's what we're in. Look, the reality is we're in the preseason of a young quarterback's second year with a new coach and a new system, and it doesn't happen at a snap of a finger and overnight. It takes time.
Same idea when we went to New England for training camp that year, and you saw the efficiency with which the Patriots did their work, and there's a reason why.
As a team.
Absolutely. Everybody from top to bottom was where they needed to be and didn't really have to go, super physical crazy, but they knew exactly what they needed to get done.
Well, and you establish that over time, and then once you establish it, then you have your players that already know what the expectation is. Then the players that have been here pass that on to the new players or the young players, so that the expectation and the knowledge of where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do, it's all part of that growth process. And that's, it's a very, very early on in the process here, and it's going to be a process that doesn't just end once the season opens in Washington. This is going to be a growth process for this football team, at least you would hope so, that this team continues to get better and improve and establish the culture and the expectations as this season is going through. And that's the one thing I think that sometimes it takes time to understand, is that once you enter the season, okay, it doesn't mean that, okay, we're done getting better, now we just need to play the games. No. Constant, never-ending improvement continues to roll through the season, through the NFL regular season.
It's 1010XL 92.5 FM and on Jaguars.com. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Let's flip it around to defense now, and another number one overall pick in Travon Walker. He spoke today to the media. That press conference available on Jaguars.com if you want to check it out. And he's kind of getting his comfort level, it seems like.
I checked it out earlier today, as a matter of fact.
What'd you think?
Oh, he's great. He's all about ball.
It seems that way, right?
Oh, my God.
And that's the perfect guy you want.
He is you can tell that he is all about football. I know that watching him the first two games, I was watching him and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, because I always like to draw comparisons of guys. And I'm not trying to say that they become these guys, but everybody has a style of play that you can maybe look back in NFL history or Jaguars history and say, he plays a lot like so-and-so. Or his game, he's kind of like player X, as far as the way that he moves or the way that he plays. And I kept racking my brain after watching Travon in the first two games, trying to think of somebody that I could maybe draw a comparison to, and I finally hit me. One of the guys that I was always a big fan of when I played, and he was playing at the same time, and I used to love watching his film, and he used to do some things that I just couldn't do because he was just so physically strong. Chris Dolman.
How about that?
Chris Dolman had the length, the strength, the athleticism, and Travon reminds me of Chris Dolman. And as I said, I'm not trying to say that Travon is going to become Chris Dolman. Chris Dolman's a Hall of Fame player. But I believe that he can become that type of player as far as that style, because the style that he plays with. The other night when the left tackle for the Cleveland Browns, Shadrick Willis, I believe it is, right?
Yep.
And he makes that inside move. He draws the holding penalty. Did you see how effortless it was when he went underneath, and then Shadrick Willis is almost like strangling him to stop him, and he can't.
Yeah, right.
He can't. I mean, even with an illegal move, he can't slow him down because he's so strong. And that's what Dolman used to do, and that Chris would get this. He always had this slap rip move. Okay, and then when he sunk that rip move, it was literally like the guy wasn't even there, that he was just running around that little hoop thing that the defensive linemen do in practice. It was like the offensive lineman wasn't even there.
He was so strong and slapping him
That's
out of the way.
how strong he was.
He just ran by him.
And Travon has that similar strength to that. And but he makes things just look so easy. The separation and getting off of blocks, something that I want Devon Hamilton to be more like. It's violent but effortless. But it's the violence, the initial violence, and then the departure. Well, I call it as departure violence. The departure violence that Travon has, he's not like herky-jerky, but he's just so strong. He's moving the guy quickly and getting off, and then his acceleration to the ball. He's always around the ball. He gets pass rushed up the field, and he gets past the quarterback. He has a natural way of going, okay, I'm too far, and he comes back. And a lot of that is just instinct.
Yeah,
so
right.
A lot of things to be excited about, and just a guy to throw out there, Chris Dolman. And that's, and some people may not remember Chris Dolman, but he's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Longtime Minnesota Viking. And when those guys played in Minnesota, man, it was something to watch, those four guys that they had up front, him and Millard and John Randall. Holy cow.
Pretty decent.
Al Noga.
Pretty decent.
I mean, four of the best to ever play the game as a group.
So how many holding penalties will Travon Walker force on offensive linemen this year?
Oh, he'll get
What
plenty.
do you think?
He'll get plenty.
10?
Because because of that strength, he'll get plenty. I mean, that's just because when you have that level of strength and you have the movement to go with it, because there's a lot of guys that have strength. Devon Hamilton has strength.
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't see him draw a lot of holding calls because he doesn't have the little bit of that movement or that violent departure.
You're holding people because you just got beat, basically.
Right.
You got to save your quarterback.
Yeah, Trayvon is fun to watch, and watching him 2 games and watching his progress, it's been immense, and so far everything that you're seeing is all positive, and the guy is wired right, and I think that's important.
We'll come back in a moment, Logs, and get into the injury report. Players ruled out by head coach Doug Pederson for Saturday night's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Check out the official Jaguars podcast network. It's free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you download your pods, iHeartRadio as well. We'll have this program archived, Jaguars Reporters, the Huddle Up podcast, and much more. Give us that 5-star rating and plenty of comments. We're back in a moment. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Thinking about your favorite whiskey or whiskey-based cocktail for this weekend's party or tailgate? Us too. While you're out shopping for supplies, don't forget to pick up a bottle of the 2022 Jaguars whiskey available at most local Jacksonville liquor stores. Not leaving the couch this weekend? No problem. You can also order a bottle online at citrusdistillersonline.com. Every bottle is made locally here in Duval.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Ready, set, go. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Ford dealer. Get going in a new Ford SUV or truck. Inventory is arriving daily, so get ready for the best offers of the summer on in-stock Ford vehicles. Or go custom order a 2023 Ford and lock in low financing and get big cash back. You've waited for these deals, and the wait is over. Ready, set, go to the Labor Day sales event, now through September 5th. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm mic'd up too.
Are you mic'd up? Hey, world, listen, this guy got a big old head. Big old head. Still mic'd up?
No, they turned it off. They just turned it off because the jokes was terrible. They're like, oh, we got to cut this out.
I had a whole world laughing. Down laughing. LOL. LMAO.
That is Laquan Treadwell mic'd up. Yes, indeed. Coming soon to Jaguars.com. LaVisca Chenault back and forth with him. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. We're also mic'd up. I'm J.P. Shadrick. That's Jeff Lageman.
They don't wear mics like this, though.
No, that would be kind of obvious.
Right, yeah, it'd be a little difficult to move.
It is amazing how they, craft the technology to make that work, though. They have a little protective thing in the back of the pads and
right, it's
wire it up.
You know how kind of sometimes, a lot of times, you have the phone pockets in like a pair of shorts or something like that. It's similar. They do the same thing on the shoulder pad, and they put the receiver in. It's not very big, and then they run the wire with tape, and everything's secured so it wouldn't become any kind of a health risk to the player. But whenever you were mic'd up as a player, you always let people know that you were mic'd up.
Were you ever mic'd up?
I don't know if I ever was or not. I don't think I was, but I have been a part of a couple mic'd ups. In other words, I was like somebody talking when somebody else was mic'd up. But when you were mic'd up, you would always go up to say, like if you and I were talking, I would approach you, and before you say anything, you would tap your chest and say, "I'm hot," which means I've got a mic on.
Okay,
so I'm hot. So that lets the guy know.
High regard for yourself, apparently.
Don't say anything. No, not in that fashion. Don't say anything that you may end up regret later on.
Sure. Trying to help your teammaats out. That's good.
Yeah. But it's cool. I think miking up players is awesome. Two reasons. One, it allows an inside look. Especially, I like the mic'd up parts where people are playing. I don't like the sideline. I mean, the sideline banter when it's about ball, I think is awesome. But if it's about hey, LOL, whatever. I like it when it's about the game. The game and the conversation on the field and the interaction on the sideline and trying to resolve something that's happening on the field. That's the thing that I like because that's the inside look. I mean, that's the all access that fans want to have more of from the NFL perspective. They love some of the sideline stuff too, but for me, I've been on the sideline, and I know what all that stuff is about. But the stuff that's interesting is the game part.
Our Jaguars.com crew does a great job with that. Jaguars PR department as well to get that together with
the
players.
Awesome.
And the players for allowing it. They don't have to say yes. I mean, they want to be a part of it sometimes too. So it's great to have all that connected, and they do a fantastic job.
It's amazing that the technology can withstand the violence of the game.
Yeah.
Because the technology has just come so far. It's amazing what you can do with just a little device nowadays,
Well, it's time now for the injury report, presented by Baptist Health and the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, these players ruled out by head coach Doug Pederson. They will not play Saturday. Devin Lloyd, who was actually back in some of the install today with the team, the 11 on defense in the starters today for a moment, didn't play in the 11-on-11 period. Lloyd will not play this week. Will Richardson Jr., offensive lineman. James Robinson starting to work his way back into team drills off that Achilles injury. The running back will not play, though. Badara Traore, offensive lineman, is out. And Darius Williams will not play either, the Jaguars cornerback. Those were the 5 listed today by head coach Doug Pederson. Well, it's good news for James Robinson. That seems to be progressing a little bit.
Well, let me just leave that list up there for a minute because Devin Lloyd is doing practice in a limited fashion.
Yes.
That's positive. He's on his way back. Will Richardson didn't seem to be doing anything. James Robinson is doing some certain drills, and they're doing a very controlled monitoring of what he is and is not doing on a daily basis. And so that's good, but Doug also talked this week about, hey, look, the expectation is we can get him back, or we hope to get him back. It was kind of twofold. You're expecting to get him back, but we hope to get him back. And so
it's kind of two sides of it. But
and the reason why is because you would hope to get him back, but the reality is you're talking about a player coming back from injury, and there's really no way of knowing exactly how the body will respond. I mean, sometimes the body responds in a great positive way, and sometimes the body just doesn't act the way that you want it to act. Darius Williams, another guy that is wearing the red, pullover jersey on top of his practice jersey, and so he's doing drills, but the shoulder surgery that he had in the offseason, they don't want him to have certain contact, and that's smart. Look, that's part of the process. The good thing is that he's getting some reps out there on the field, so I think the target date for him is opening week, and that would be great to get him and Devin Lloyd back. The concern that I have out of all of those guys, James has played the game, and I think that's going to be a process coming back. He might end up being X number of carries on the low scale to begin with, to working his way back to where then he can become a carry the load guy more as he works his way back. But Devin Lloyd, he's probably going to go into the opener without having played at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you even put him out there against the Falcons in the game? Because you might get some reps with him in the practice field next week. I mean, maybe.
Well, I think it's a great question. And
is that what you want your first 11-on-11 experience to be against another team?
No.
In practice?
No. Well,
it's not ideal, right?
I'm saying you don't want your first 11-on-11 experience to be in a real game.
Sure, yeah.
When you talk about you try to get adapted to the tempo, and then if you get thrown out there in a regular season game, look, the tempo in practice is here. Okay, the tempo in the preseason is here,
which is higher.
Okay, and then the practice in a regular season game is here.
It is much higher.
It ramps, it elevates. So the talent level goes up, the speed of the game goes up, the depth of the game plan is increased. Everything is bigger, faster, stronger, deeper in its entirety, moving out of preseason into the regular season.
I think it was yesterday the Jags offense was working in a red zone drill, 11-on-11, and James Robinson's out there and kind of runs over right guard, right tackle around the 5-yard line, and then does a spin move at the goal line and get in. I'm like, wait, okay.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see.
Yeah,
from watching him, he's definitely making progress, and it's amazing. Running back coming back from an Achilles. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
that's first of all, what a tremendous accomplishment just to be back out there practicing. And is he back 100%? No, I think there's some times where you can see that he is not quite up on the ball of his foot at times, but that's part of the process. Just coming back, you watch guys come back from knees and such, the explosion, and as an athlete, sometimes you're back when you're not thinking about doing something. So in other words, you're not mentally trying to make your body do something. You're just doing it just because it's a reaction. When you get to that point, you're back. And James is not there yet from my eyes, but you can see that he is making tremendous progress.
If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're back in a moment with a preview of the preseason Week 2 game. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up. And then at 5 o'clock, the Doug Pederson Show. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bono's is currently expanding its brand with franchise opportunities throughout the Southeast and beyond. Over 70 years of authentic Southern pit barbecue and owning your own business are a great combo. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist. Waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for the best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gate's frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville Sports Talk for Jacksonville sports fans. 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, and if you're watching on Jaguars.com or Jaguars social media, a live look at the Miller Electric Center construction site just outside TIAA Bank Field. It's been a wet afternoon, apparently. Big storms rolling through, and it's a mud puddle right now around it, but the construction continues very well, and it looks like they're starting to begin the grandstand for the outdoor fields, which is good news. About 2,100 seats, a little over that capacity for fans starting next training camp. How about that?
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Looking forward to seeing the completed project and seeing exactly how beautiful that thing's going to be, because it's going to be state of the art now. I mean, that's going to be top notch, and looking forward to that. Wish we had that back when I was playing here. Here's the reality, though. Does it? I mean, do facilities make you better? I think in some ways they can, because the latest technology, the latest things that you can do in football to have the room for it and the size for it. And the game is growing. When I first came in the league in 1989, it was very small. Staffs were still considerably small. The buildings didn't need to be big. And it's become such a big business. The growth has been incredible, and obviously the revenue has increased as well. And there is an arms race aspect to the NFL now, which didn't exist. College football, I think, pushed the NFL along.
They've been at it for a long time.
But then also free agency. When you get to free agency, if you've got an attractive facility and somebody doesn't, and if things are kind of equal, the player's going to go, you know what, the opulence of this new facility, man, that's really cool. I really like it. So it can make a difference. I mean, they would have those big giant floor fans blowing on them to try to get them dry enough, or at least drier, for the second practice of the day. You know, back, J.P., when you did have the second practice of the day.
way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way things are now, though. I mean, I'm
sure the players love it too. I mean, it mak's sense. You're protecting the guys, getting them ready. You're still getting work in, but you're not, bashing heads for, 8 hours a day.
Oh, I mean, a little explanation on kind of how nice this current thing is. And I believe this is the way it should have been forever. But you go back to, okay, you played the game on Friday night, right? You got the weekend off. Come back, you have a full day's work on Monday, a night practice, and then Tuesday you're off again, and have very demanding practice again on Thursday, light practice, and then tomorrow you probably have like a walkthrough in preparation for the game because you're doing a little bit more game planning. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that schedule, and I think it's amazing. I think it's the way it should have been for many years.
So coming up this Saturday, the Steelers and the Jaguars, a 7 o'clock kickoff time at TIAA Bank Field. Tickets at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. The game presented by Pet Paradise with over 50 locations to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com. Pet Paradise, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Starters are going into the second quarter, at least, Doug Pederson says, on both sides of the ball, and he wants to see the defense a little bit longer. What do you expect, just offhand, out of the Pittsburgh Steelers? They've got some quarterback questions up there, too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they approach this preseason game, and it's kind of hard to know what to expect anymore. And the reason why I say that is that with 3 preseason games, the mindset has changed somewhat. Some people believe that the second preseason, when I say 3 preseason, ignore the Hall of Fame game because Jaguars were the only one that had one. So everybody else has 3. So if you look at just the 3 games, many people believe that the second one is the important one, and some believe that the last one is more important because you're getting 2 weeks off from the last one all the way until their opener. So what's the best approach? I don't know if there is necessarily a best approach. For the Jaguars, I think the best way to do it is for their starters to play this week, and then when you travel to Flowery Branch next week for a preseason game with the Falcons, you play your starters in the practice that you're going to have with the Falcons a ton because that's a controlled environment. And so you're still getting the feel of facing an elevated competition level, a different scheme, different techniques that players have or different traits that players have. And you're getting more reps in a practice sometimes than you would get if you're playing in a preseason game. So from the Jaguar standpoint, I think the best way to do it would be to play a lot of guys a lot of time in this week's game against Pittsburgh. And then in Atlanta, get your practice time in with your starters in Flowery Branch, and then don't play them in that preseason game. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, it might be different. They may not have practice with somebody next week. So maybe for them it's beneficial to play their starters this week for a little bit and then more so next week. But I don't know what their approach is going to be. It's going to be interesting from the standpoint of, the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't had to worry about finding a new quarterback for
18 years.
A long time, man.
18.
Ben was there forever.
Yeah.
And so you sign Trubisky, you still have a guy that's there that really is no good, and then you go out and you draft a guy in the first round and Pickett. And Pickett played pretty well in the first preseason game, at least from a number standpoint. And so I think from a Pittsburgh Steelers standpoint, the Steeler Nation is going to be watching very closely to find out who's going to win that quarterback battle because that is a big deal.
For the Jaguars,
we have a right tackle battle here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I know. Right tackle battle, and we didn't come back to the other battle in the offensive line.
Well, you dropped the ball on that.
Well, we're
JP.
back. We got a few minutes left.
You were too busy about patting yourself on the back for the changing of the guard statement that you made.
Thank you. Left guard. So Ben Bartch yesterday was his first. My shoulder's sore from patting my other shoulder. He got in with the first team yesterday for the first time in practice, at least.
Didn't last long.
No, he left. He told me today that he had he was sick and but a number of guys left yesterday's practice. Either way, didn't last long. He was back out there today though with the first team. So, is that a true changing of the guard? Is that permanent? You think?
I think so, and I think that's. I thought that Bartch in the first 2 preseason games played very well. He's played – remember I said last year I thought he was one of the most improved players with the football team. I thought he did a really good job, and I think he still has a lot of work to do with his feet and the mental process. But and also to allow time with Fortner to get comfortable, putting Shatley next to him to begin camp, I think it was a smart approach. And Barch was inserted with the starters yesterday, and then he left practice because of dehydration, I guess. I mean, it's overheating, whatever it was. But I think that's the best. I think for this football team, I think Barch is a little stronger. Shatley didn't have the best preseason game against Cleveland. And I think Shatley's best position is what he's been doing for a long time. I think he's an incredibly valuable backup. And then he's a guy that can be a starter at center if you need him. The one thing I am surprised about, you have the Cleveland Browns who have now lost 2 centers. They lost one in the game against the Jaguars on Friday night. Then they lost one over the weekend or the first part of the week in practice. And then you also have the center situation with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm surprised, and maybe it has happened. I don't know. But if I'm one of those 2 teams, I'm calling the Jaguars and saying, hey, look, what would it take for me to acquire Tyler Shatley?
2 first-round picks this year, next year.
Make it 3.
And cash consideration.
Make it 3. But that would be, who knows? So I think Shatley's best position is as a backup center. I think he can be a starter in this league. I think he absolutely could be one of the top 30 centers in the league. And that's his natural position, and they had him at guard. I don't think that's his best position. I think his best position is center, but that just goes to show you how much they think of Luke Fortner, because Luke Fortner has had a very good camp. When you watch him play the game, he is very aware, very smart, and it's not perfect yet. They had to do some do-overs today, and when they're doing the game planning stuff and kind of explain some things, you could see that Phil Rauscher, the offensive line coach, was making sure that he was understanding what they expected with the calls. And that's typical with a young player. And remember, you only get one kind of day of game planning, which is not a whole lot. But yeah, I like the situation there. And I think, the sooner you settle the right tackle situation, the better, because then you can start to – and bear with me here for a minute, because if you choose to go with Walker Little at – right tackle, then get him the reps. If you choose to go with Juwan, get him the reps. Then if it's Juwan at right tackle, then you got to start getting some reps for a Walker Little at both left and right, because he's going to be the backup for both tackles. If it's Juwan, then you're going to want to get Juwan some reps at right tackle with the second teams, and then maybe getting Walker Little some snaps over there at first team. But yeah, the sooner that you make that decision, the more prepared you will be once you get going into the regular season. But you have to let the competition play out.
Yeah, we can't just guess right now. You just got to let it go. See what happens.
And it's tight. Like I said, it's been kind of, the needle's been moving back and forth a little bit, and stay tuned.
Of course, the Publix Tailgate Show this Saturday at 4 o'clock. Countdown to kickoff on the Jaguars radio network at 6 o'clock. Television on Fox 30. And it should be a good time at the bank. Come on out and see it. The Steelers and the Jaguars in preseason week 2. Coming up in just a moment, the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars radio network. And no Doug in the preseason. The schedules are wacky right now with everybody getting ready. So we're hoping once the regular season comes, we'll hear from Doug.
We're not getting stiffed.
No,
by the head coach.
No.
It's preseason. Their schedules are different, and then we're trying to work out exactly how it's going to work during the season, and we'll figure it out. But the more important thing is the development of this football team, not a Doug Pederson radio show.
I'd say. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Priority number 1.
Let's see. Time, head coach, to spend with J.P. and Logs, or is it more important to spend time with Trevor?
Well, we'll spend an hour together here in just a moment. How about that? Me and you, Logs. The Doug Pederson Show is coming up. That'll do it for Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Welcome to the Doug Pederson Show, brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Doug Pederson Show starts right now.
Welcome in the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. No Doug Pederson in the preseason. The schedules are wild in training camp. They're getting ready for preseason week 2. The Pittsburgh Steelers come to town. It's the third Jaguars game of the preseason, of course, after the Hall of Fame game, and then the Browns game. The Steelers this week, and then next week at Atlanta. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff Saturday at TIAA Bank Field. Jeff Lageman, good afternoon.
What time's kickoff?
7:07 officially.
Beautiful. Looking forward to that. And I bet you the Pittsburgh Steelers faithful will show up. Jaguars fans will be loud and proud. It should be a good atmosphere, especially with the starters playing into the first half and maybe to halftime. That'll be a lot of fun.
Those towels are ugly, by the way. I'm not a fan.
Well, you don't like teal towels?
No. The Steelers' terrible towels.
Oh, well, yeah, that's teal towels here.
Okay, good.
Not yellow.
Yeah, good. Keep those out.
Who invented the tile?
Myron Cope.
Ah,
yes.
Good job.
That's right.
Just seeing if JP was on it.
My favorite Cope line is yoy and double yoy. I don't even know what that means, but it's hilarious.
He was a legendary Pittsburgh Steelers broadcaster for many years.
Hey, so it's preseason week 2, and many teams, at least, consider this the dress rehearsal game.
Some.
Doug Pederson spoke today, or before practice, in fact, and was asked how long the starters will play this Saturday.
From a playing standpoint, I definitely want to see the starters go into the second quarter again this week. I think our defense needs to be on the field a little bit more. They've played well in the first 2 games. They just haven't played long enough. So I definitely want to see them play a little bit more. Offensively, if we can do the things we did last week and sort of clean up some of the execution things, into the second quarter.
So to Doug Pederson's point, the defense, last week, Trayvon Walker played 9 snaps in that game. The defense got off the field quickly. They did their job. They got a 3 and out, a takeaway. They just weren't on the field a whole lot. So, it'd be nice to see them a little bit more, just see them operate as a defense.
Well, I want to see the starters regardless. I mean, not because they only had 9 snaps against Cleveland. I want to be entertained with the frontline guys. And the longer the look that you can get this week, the more comfortable you kind of feel as a fan, right? If they have a good performance, you're like, yeah.
It kind of felt that way last week, right? Even though it was just a quarter or whatever.
And I believe
everybody
that
felt good.
Can you create any momentum going in the regular season with the preseason? I think you can in some ways.
How?
Well, let me correct myself or kind of change it from this perspective. You can create a lot of negativity by poor performance in the preseason and a lot of doubt if you don't play well. Can you create momentum and positivity going into the regular season? Sure. I think everything matters. And for a young team that's trying to establish a new system and a new coach and a new way of doing business and a new culture, I think all of that stuff matters. And you look to the Baltimore Ravens, okay? They've created an incredible culture of winning that was established in the preseason. How many consecutive games?
Like it's years.
19, 20, or
it's years.
It's years of.
I think it's over 20 now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, all that stuff matters, and so I think that this game matters, and I'm excited to see the starting guys, and hopefully Pittsburgh plays some of their starters into this game because you want to have your guys going against their guys. You don't want to have your guys going and all of a sudden Pittsburgh's not playing anybody. Could that happen? Sure, it could. Mike Tomlin might have a different philosophy about this week. He might want to play his guys the third game, or he might not want to play his guys at all. I don't know, but I think that either way, I'm excited about seeing our guys.
Logs, earlier this week on Wednesday, the Jaguars offense had some issues against the Jags defense. There were some interceptions, some drops, just some miscommunication in the backfield in a couple of instances. Just was not the smoothest of practices, as Trevor Lawrence put it. And then even today, it was a half-speed tempo today. But it kind of felt like, we're still kind of coming off that bad, performance on the practice field on Wednesday. How do you snap out of that as an offense? And where do you begin with that? Does it start with 16?
Well, I think it starts with everybody. And the challenge is always with offense is consistency. The great offenses always are consistent. And when you have a new coaching staff, you have a new system, you have new players, you have a new environment, all of this is so new, it takes time to build that. And the process of building is going to continue through the preseason. And then also it continues into the regular season. And, you hope that the consistency that you're striving for will start to show up. And that's not easy to do. The reality was yesterday's practice, Wednesday's practice, tough. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great offensive practice, but there's also the other perspective, okay? The glass is half full, JP, and that's
your glass is half full.
Well, I'm going to give you a different approach.
I like
the defense had a great practice on Wednesday.
Yes, they did.
Right? I mean, you could look at it from that perspective. And that's the challenge of the preseason, and that's sometimes I've been on teams to where you've had practices that didn't feel good, and then you had a marvelous year or marvelous week, and then sometimes you had a practice that was amazing, and then you came out on the game time and you didn't play well, or you didn't play well that year. So sometimes it's hard to gauge, and preseason games are probably one of the most difficult things to gauge success or the lack of success in the future off of. It's just sometimes it just makes no sense, just because you could have two completely different varied approaches from the teams that are coming together to play a game.
Yeah, you're not really planning at all for that team's scheme in a lot of instances. So
no, but the one thing that we saw happen on Wednesday, which was encouraging, was it wasn't a great practice. There were a lot of guys, and it was a grinder now. I mean,
yes.
that was a long practice.
2.5 hours.
And hard. I mean, some guys, had to look, appeared to leave practice because of dehydration or heat, whatever. And then after practice, the offense had a players-only meeting. And I don't know what was said. We're not privy to that, but you could kind of get the vibe that it was based on, hey, look, what we just had in practice was not okay. We need to be better than that. And, I don't know exactly who started. I thought Dan Arnold might have been one of the guys, and then Trevor looked like he was talking. So, I mean, that's good stuff. When the players start taking ownership and the coaches don't feel like that they're the ones that always have to end up delivering the message, then you kind of know that you're making progress, because the players are the ones that have to carry the message and play the game.
You don't want too many of those meetings, though, right? I mean, you have too many players-only meetings. That means things aren't going so well.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't want to start having one of those things happen every week.
Right. Winning teams, baseball used to do that. Right? They'd have these closed-door meetings and the clubhouse players only.
They're drinking beer.
They're
drinking beer in baseball.
They've lost for 2 weeks straight, and they're 20 games out of first. I mean, of course, they're going to have team meetings, and talk about it.
They're drinking beer in the locker room for those baseball meetings.
That's why they were 20 games out of first place, I think. But you have too many of those that things are going the wrong way.
Well,
so let's limit those.
But they have to strive for consistency. And then after that practice, Trevor met the media, and he talked about that, specifically about the need to find consistency. And that's a challenge, and that's why you practice. That's why you play preseason games. If you just automatically just went out there and everything was consistent, what the hell are you practicing for? I mean, okay, you got it. It doesn't happen that way. It takes time, and it's the same thing with the coaching staff. The coaching staff is still trying to find their rhythm with a lot of these new coaches that they're working with, and they're trying to find what works best for them from a daily structure standpoint and game planning standpoint and time management standpoint. Mike Caldwell is probably in the same boat. I mean, here's a first-time defensive coordinator, trying to do things that defensive coordinators do and he's doing it all for the very first time. Now, he's got some people that he can talk to, Bob Sutton. He can talk to Doug. He can talk to other coaches and get input. But, it's a process, JP. It's a process for everybody.
Speaking of defense, we'll hear Doug Pederson and his thoughts on how long it might take to implement a new scheme on the defensive side of the ball. That's coming up. And we are off and running. This is the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Ready, set, go. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Ford dealer. Get going in a new Ford SUV or truck. Inventory is arriving daily, so get ready for the best offers of the summer on in-stock Ford vehicles. Or go custom order a 2023 Ford and lock in low financing and get big cash back. You've waited for these deals, and the wait is over. Ready, set, go to the Labor Day sales event, now through September 5th. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. No Doug Pederson in the preseason. They're over there meeting right now. They're getting ready for Saturday's game. Grind mode, Logs.
So is today like the official breaking of camp?
I think that's early next week, right before the trip to Atlanta.
Okay.
I think they break out of the hotel and do all that before they go up there. And then once they're back, I think they're back.
But the segment of practices at Episcopal
– it's over.
All
over. Today was the last day.
By the way, kudos to everybody for making that happen. That was what a great setup, what a great facility. And I know it was kind of a partnership with many, and the Jaguars went in there and did a lot of improvements, which is going to benefit Episcopal in the long term because now they get – 3 or 2 incredible fields out of it, which is awesome. But a great setup and kind of a little hidden gem. I didn't even know that even existed in that part of the world.
I know, right? I drive by there sometimes on beach, but
it's like totally hidden.
Never been inside the gate. I see the gate, but I didn't know it was back there.
Yeah,
There's
totally
fields
hidden.
And tennis courts, and it's pretty nice.
Totally hidden. And the only thing that I'd like to see maybe next time is maybe some covered areas for us, JP, me and you personally.
I got some good sun though.
Shade,
I needed it.
Shade,
Oh, yeah, I know what shade is. There was not much out there.
No, there was not.
Let's hear from Doug Pederson about the Episcopal experience for his football team. And, thanks a lot to the Episcopal School of Jacksonville, he says.
Even though this team has been built around the 34, there's some nuances in it because it really plays like a 4-down front. And you're moving parts around. You got Trayvon and Josh who stay left and right. They don't necessarily trade sides. You got your inside backers that kind of stay left and right. And so, understanding formation, some 3-4 teams will actually flip those outside and inside guys so they're always strong and weak. And, it has some consistency that way. But, that's the one thing about our scheme here and what Mike has brought is that they can stay on that one side and learn that one side. But, again, they're, the tight end could be to them, tight end could be away, and then there's some details of just where the front needs to be set, and then obviously the run lanes and the run fits and where the safeties insert, and so a lot of that takes time with just the details and the practice of everything.
That's Doug Pederson on the timing it takes to get a defense installed. New unit, new group. We'll hear from Doug on the Episcopal campus coming up just a little bit later.
But interesting what he said right there, and he's talking about Trayvon and Josh being outside linebackers, and do you flip-flop them? I think all the great players that have rushed the passer typically have had a side. When you watched the Pittsburgh Steelers do it with Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd, Kevin was left side, Greg was right side.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Did they flip-flop? I mean, maybe once in a blue moon. T.J. Watt doesn't flip-flop and go over to the right side a whole lot. He's a left side guy. There's a comfort level, just like a left tackle, an offensive left tackle, and an offensive right tackle. When you make the switch, it's just like your feet are different, right?
Right.
It's completely different. The way you step, the way you approach a tackle, and so I think that Josh is better on the outside of the left, and I definitely think that Trayvon is more comfortable outside on the right. And could they get more comfortable? Sure, by splitting time, but it's almost to where you want to become an expert in your craft. It's hard to be an expert unless you live on that street all full time. You want to make sure if you want to know your neighborhood, live in that neighborhood. You know what I mean? So if you want to be really good on the right, you stay on the right. You want to be really good on the left, you stay on the left. But I think that there will be times to where you have guys standing up and moving around at some point, just to maybe take advantage of the confusion factor, to maybe trick a young quarterback and who's coming, who's not, who's rushing from where are they eventually going to end up. So you want to kind of keep that in your pocket a little bit. And maybe Doug is totally blowing a line of smoke.
He might be.
And
so week 1, September 11th, he's going to unleash the beast.
And maybe they might start flip-flopping him all the time, and he fooled you, all you offensive coordinators that were reading the Jaguars press clippings in the preseason.
That's right.
You never know.
You never know. It's a poker game, right?
Why not?
Keep your cards close to the vest.
Well, I will say that they do have a little element of surprise. And why not take advantage of it? It's a new staff. It's if you look at the offense, and people say, well, it's Doug Pederson's offense. Sure it is. But he also has Press Taylor as an offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
He also has Mike McCoy as a quarterbacks coach who has been a coordinator, head coach. Jim Bob Cooter, who is the passing game coordinator. There's a lot of people that can provide input.
Trevor Lawrence can provide some input, too.
Absolutely. So this is, and we've said this in years past, but the reality is true, and that every year you're creating, with a new staff, you're creating something that's the Jaguars' offense. It's not just Doug's offense or just Trevor's offense. Now, if Trevor was like Peyton Manning, and remember when Peyton Manning made the move from Indy to go to Denver, well, Denver started running Peyton's offense.
Good idea.
Because that's what he was comfortable with.
Yeah.
Okay. So
listen, Peyton, we're gonna make you fly.
Yeah.
I know you're coming off a neck thing, but we want you to learn this new language as well and this new system.
It was just like Tom Brady going from New England to Tampa.
Yeah.
Do you think that it became no, it's Bruce Arians' offense here. Well, yeah, it was some of Bruce's, but it was also, no risk it, no biscuit, Bruce Arians.
I'm aware.
But then a lot of it was Tom Brady's comfort level and the concepts that he was familiar with. That's just the way it works.
Hey, there's a battle going on the offensive line logs, and we're going to come back and hear about.
One's settled and one's still ongoing.
Yeah.
Kind of settled, I guess you could say one of them is.
Kind of. More settled than it has been.
Apparently more settled.
One is raging.
One of them is rocking and rolling now.
We'll hear from Doug Pederson on that right tackle battle for the Jaguars when we return. It's the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. And the Steelers-Jaguars game coming up Saturday, preseason week 2. The game presented by Pet Paradise, with over 50 locations to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com. Pet Paradise, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. There is a raging battle on the offensive line. There are two, actually, but one is, I guess, really starting to go now in preseason week 2. It's the right tackle position. Walker Little, Jawan Taylor. Taylor's the incumbent. Walker Little now in his second year. Got some time late last season. All right, so where are they? Doug Pederson, earlier today before practice, gave us an update.
It's an interesting battle. I think this game will be important for both players. And I like how Jawan's responded coming off the injury and how he played last week and how he's practiced. Walker's done an outstanding job as well. So it's very interesting, for us. We're kind of in a good spot with it because you can kind of go either way, and the other guy can be the swing tackle or whatever. So I think this week will be important, and then even when we go to Atlanta and practice against Atlanta will be another good opportunity for both of them.
All right, so from that, Logs, they are far from finished in this battle. They've got a lot of work to do.
I think it's an interesting battle. The Hall of Fame game, Walker Little played well. Jawan Taylor was out with an injury, I think a hamstring, and you're like thinking, okay, Walker Little's winning this because Jawan is unavailable and you're basing his performance on his performance in the past. Well, Jawan comes back. He's practicing pretty good. It's not perfect. And then I thought Walker Little took a step back against Cleveland as far as the performance that he had in the game. And then his practice yesterday, I didn't think it was great. And Smoot put him on his can in a pass rush move one time that was kind of embarrassing. I mean, it can happen, but that's not kind of what you want to have happen. You know what I mean? So I think this battle is open, and I think it's going to go all the way until you get to Flowery Branch. And but the sooner you get it resolved, I think the better, because the whole thing about offensive line is continuity, working together, comfort with the guy beside you, having that kind of unspoken understanding of where your guy's going to be and when he needs to be there. And when you're constantly churning who's in the lineup at right tackle, because in practice they're alternating like every snap or every two snaps.
Every few plays it feels like.
Sometimes in a competition you'll rotate every series, but they've been doing it every couple plays. And look, they've been very civil with each other. They're high-fiving each other on the way in and out, and it's,
I've talked to both of them this week, and,
it's
and
all
they
good.
both said that. It's all fine. Their teammates are going to help each other out, and then whoever wins the job wins it.
Yeah, so as long as it makes the position better, then good. But you want to make sure that also that you don't lose sight of the fact that you need to make your 5 better. And so the sooner that you can resolve it, the better. Left guard, Barch was inserted in as the starter yesterday.
Yes.
And Shatley was moved back to what Shatley's perfect role is, which is as a backup center swing guy on game day. First guy in on any of those 3 interior spots. That's where his value is. Smart, tough, available, strong. That's Shatley,
Yeah, he was snapping for the second team offense today. Yes.
Right. And he did take some snaps yesterday when Barch ended up going out with sickness, illness, heat, dehydration, whatever it was.
All the above, maybe.
Yeah, whatever it was. But so and Barch he's got to work to get better too. He's got to work to find that continuity with Cam and work to find that continuity with the young center Luke Fortner. And the battle at right tackle is something that I think is going to be an incredible watch. If you're watching preseason football on television, watch the right tackles. I mean, first of all, watch Trevor Lawrence. Okay,
thank you.
And watch Trevor Lawrence with the new pieces of the
Christian
weapons.
Kirk,
yeah,
but they won't have time if the right tackle is a spinning top. So,
well, I mean, there's a lot of things to watch, but but that's something that is look, if right tackle is the most watched position, then you're doing pretty good. It's better than Pittsburgh's situation where they're trying to figure out who the quarterback is, and way better than Cleveland's situation where they're going, okay, now what do we do with these last 2 weeks of preseason, and who are we going to get reps going into the season, because Deshaun's now been suspended for 11 games and a $5 million fine to be given to charity. And, oh, by the way, he's innocent, he said. He's innocent, didn't do anything wrong.
Just remember, it could always be worse.
Yeah.
So things
That's
are going
the most
okay.
Bizarre thing ever.
Things are going okay down here.
It's like, you want to talk about bizarro.
I really don't want to talk about bizarro.
I know, but
it
is totally bizarre.
I think I'm good. Let's come back, and we'll hear from Doug Pederson on the Episcopal School and the host of the last 3 weeks of training camp. This is the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Ready, set, go. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Ford dealer. Get going in a new Ford SUV or truck. Inventory is arriving daily, so get ready for the best offers of the summer on in-stock Ford vehicles. Or go custom order a 2023 Ford and lock in low financing and get big cash back. You've waited for these deals, and the wait is over. Ready, set, go to the Labor Day sales event, now through September 5th. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
My hat's off to Episcopal for allowing us to, come out here and sort of invade their space a little bit. Our, also to our grounds crew to put these fields down and really a lot of work and a lot of man hours went into, getting us over here. From the buses every day to, just the timing of everything. And I just can't say enough good things about this situation. The guys have really enjoyed it, kind of getting away from our building a little bit and getting outside here. And it's been really good. And we've been very fortunate to have this.
That's head coach Doug Pederson. This is the Doug Pederson Show. And if you're watching on Jaguars.com or Jaguars social media, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, you're taking a look at some of the construction of those fields at Episcopal. They took out the old fields and put in brand new turf, and it turned out fantastic. And the Episcopal soccer and lacrosse teams will practice out there moving forward. So really great surface, and thanks again to the folks at Episcopal. And today after practice, and in fact, Doug Pederson invited the head of school, the Reverend Adam Green, and the director of athletics, Andy Kidd, to break down the team. They talked to the team after practice today.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, the fields probably might be underwater right now.
They might,
it's getting a little wet here in Jacksonville.
Good thing they got the practice in this morning, which was part of the idea, right? Doug Pederson said, hey, it's going to rain every afternoon. Let's get out there in the morning, 8:30, and be out of there by 11:30 at the latest. That's smart.
It's one of the best practice surface fields that I have seen the Jaguars practice on. I mean, it was incredible. Level, the grass perfect. You wouldn't even know that they've been practicing on it for 14 days, 13 days?
Practices over 14 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it looks still brand new. It looks like nothing's really impacted at all. So credit to the grounds crew. They've done an amazing job.
And he mentioned there the folks with the Jaguars who kind of put the schedule together and worked it out. They started doing that in April. I mean, when they had to figure out, okay, where are we actually going for training camp, and worked it out with Episcopal and made all that happen. It's a lot more than just showing up with a bus full of football players, trust me. And the ability to get that field ready, and then the logistics of getting the team over there and back, the security involved, even overnight to keep things safe that are out there. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. So
a lot of effort and a lot of money.
A lot. And, hey, you know what? It's going to pay off because next year the Jaguars are scheduled to be in the Miller Electric Center just outside TIAA Bank Field. There will be about 2,100, a little more than 2,100 seats available for training camp next year on the two outdoor fields. And then, of course, the 125,000 square foot building that's next door to it. It's going to be unbelievable.
Think about that.
That's a lot.
Over 100,000 square feet.
It's a lot of room for activities.
That's immense.
Yes.
And then still have the ability to keep a lot of the business side of things still operating in the stadium. I mean, that's a big building, and it's going to be beautiful. I can't wait to see it.
The city and the Jaguars went in half and half on that project, and it should be really, I think, the start of something special around the stadium down here. And moving ahead, of course, next the Shipyards is next on the docket after that. And we'll see. We're going to start seeing things come out of the ground very soon over there. I think.
I'm looking forward to seeing some winning come out of the ground of this football team
right?
this year, JP, and that's
what
I'm looking forward to with Doug at the helm and Trevor at the helm. That's what I am most looking forward to. Wins, W's.
That's what it's all about. Let's come back. We'll hear from Doug Pederson ahead. The Jaguars and the Steelers coming up this Saturday in preseason week 2. And this is the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty. offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Crown Royal's That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who served this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal promotion. Please drink responsibly.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
I just think it was warm and humid yesterday. I mean, I think it was in the 67 percentile as far as humidity goes. I'm, meteorologist now, but yeah, it was warm yesterday. And I don't know that part. But it was warm yesterday, and also coming off a day off, we've seen that this year when you get a day off and you try to come back and work, but guys do a good job of taking care of their bodies. They understand. We're playing in the heat and humidity, and we play at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoons at the bank. So, we got to prepare for that.
Head coach Doug Pederson called it the bank. I love that. Welcome back. It's the Doug Pederson Show. No Doug Pederson with us in the preseason, and it's training camp. There's meetings. There's a lot going on right now ahead of this preseason Week 2 game at the bank this Saturday.
He's got the lingo down.
Yes, he does. The Steelers and the Jaguars coming up. And, yes, it was hot. It has been hot most of camp.
That's how it works, man.
Florida.
When you live here for a while, you kind of figure out that in the morning the humidity is incredibly high, and you get no breeze until the afternoon. So that's just the way it is. But would you rather wait and try to dodge lightning in the afternoon by having the practice then? No, thanks.
No.
So you just suck it up and you practice once a day. So it's it's doable. You can handle it, no problem.
They got it done, which is good.
Yeah, just look.
You know what's going to be hotter next week in Flowery Branch. Apparently, it's been red hot there.
It can be, but the humidity here is what, especially in the morning, the humidity can be incredibly high. But I mean, look, the reality is that this is where you play, and it's a home field advantage. And when you acclimate to it, and when you learn to adjust your body to it, when you are getting to the point where you know how to hydrate, you know how to get prepared for a game and how to hydrate for a game. There's been many teams that have come in here and have gotten slapped upside the head from the heat and humidity, and they can't deal with it at all. And I can tell you that from years of playing in New York, when the schedule came out, the first thing that I looked at was, when did we play the Miami Dolphins? For real. And the reason I looked was because I was hoping that we would play Miami early in the season, because at least you have some kind of being used to the heat. Because if you had to come down to Miami in November or in December, well, it's 45 degrees high in New York at that time, and you're not used to the heat. And you come down in the heat and you get gassed. So this is an advantage, and you have to look at it from that aspect. And when you do, and you realize that this is what we plan, this is our advantage, it gives you a mindset that I'm tougher than him because this is my house and this is my environment. I'm ready for it. I am acclimated. They're not, and I'm going to be tougher than they are. That's the mindset you have to have as a team.
The Jaguars earlier this week released veteran defensive tackle Malcolm Brown. He was traded over to the Jaguars before last season from the New Orleans Saints. Had plenty of time, of course, with the New England Patriots, a couple Super Bowl rings with them. Why the move, Logs, and what do they do now at that spot, or are they good?
Well, we talked a little bit about that. I mean, you did, and that I told you that I didn't think Malcolm Brown was playing very well. That's what I saw. And this is a production business, and when your performance isn't where it has been or where it needs to be, then they're going to move on. And I think out of respect for him, they allowed him an early release with an opportunity to maybe catch on sooner rather than later. But the reality is that he was not playing well. And Devon Hamilton has been playing better than him. And to be perfectly honest with you, Gotsis is playing better than what Malcolm Brown was playing. And so that was all performance. There's nothing else to that other than performance.
Because he seemed like a good guy to have around the locker room, actually.
There's no, he got in trouble he broke curfew and they're making an example. I mean, none of that.
He's the guy you
wanted. This is performance.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good guy, quality guy, wasn't playing well, and when you don't play well, you got to move on to the players that are playing well because you're taking away the opportunities for them to get better to continue to give reps to a guy that's not playing well and not playing well for, I mean, it wasn't a health issue or anything else. So just time to kind of turn the page.
Social media is a buzz a lot about a bunch of different things, Logs. Yesterday, social media was a buzz.
About?
Because they wanted the Jaguars to sign Ndamukong Suh, who is a free agent.
I'm all for it.
Suh's 35?
It doesn't matter. He's still a good player.
Okay, yeah. But
okay,
let's
go.
Would he? You would be for that?
Heck yeah.
Would he be for that? Is the question?
It's just what's the number? He's been making $8, $9, $10 million a year.
Do the Jaguars have that room right now?
I don't know. I don't know, but I can tell you,
math over there.
Ndamukong Suh is a really good football player. He's incredibly strong. A lot of people say, where would he play? He would be one of your defensive ends. One thing you can do in this whole Malcolm typically was the nose tackle. Okay, so Devon Hamilton, Malcolm Brown, they were when you're in your big package or your base package, you would have Malcolm Brown and Devon Hamilton as your nose tackle. Okay, there's your first and second team nose tackle.
Right over the center.
Right. And then on your defensive end, you had Foley Fatukasi from the Jets, the free agent that you got, big man, and then you got Roy Robertson-Harris at the other defensive end.
Another big man, yes.
Okay, your next backup's probably Smoot, obviously, because Smoot's a good football player. But, I mean, as far as big guys go, it's probably a Gotsis. Now, what do you do, okay, if you needed somebody to play nose tackle? Fatukasi can play nose tackle, no problem. I mean, he's a big strong man, can play. So it's not like he's a defensive end and only a defensive end. So if you can maybe play some other defensive end at the defensive end spot, you could move Fatukasi for some reps in at the nose tackle position.
About Jay Tufele?
He's not showing much yet.
Okay.
This is a production. Again, this is a production-based business, and Jay Tufele hasn't earned that yet. And I hope he does, but as of right now, I don't see that earned playtime. And is he, think about him last year. I mean, how many, was he active one time?
I don't remember it.
Yeah, and then this year, from what I've seen on film, he's got a lot of work to do.
We'll return. Plenty more ahead. The Jaguars and the Steelers coming up this Saturday evening at TIAA Bank Field. And this is the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ready, set, go. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Ford dealer. Get going in a new Ford SUV or truck. Inventory is arriving daily, so get ready for the best offers of the summer on in-stock Ford vehicles. Or go custom order a 2023 Ford and lock in low financing and get big cash back. You've waited for these deals, and the wait is over. Ready, set, go to the Labor Day sales event, now through September 5th. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. The Jags and the Steelers coming up. Preseason week 2 this Saturday night at TIAA Bank Field. J.P. Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, glad you're with us. No Doug Pederson on this show in the preseason. They're busy getting ready for the game. Training camp is here. Grind mode is here. That's what it is this time of year. We get
what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
Trying to win football games here.
Those coaches now, from the time the football season starts until it ends, there's not a whole lot of time to be spent anywhere than grinding on the job. That job's not for everybody.
No, it's not. It is not. It rarely ends. And you know how you win football games is with strong special teams units.
And great players on those special teams.
That's right. So that'll be a focus, of course, in the next – this week, certainly. And then really in preseason week 3, the final game, when you're trying to carve down and figure out who's going to make that final cut, a lot of that will come down to how some of these players perform on special teams. And, Logs, we always say that, you got to perform on special teams. But what are you really looking at when you're looking at a special teams player?
Well, because the reality is a lot of people try to, because you got the stay-at-home general managers that are trying to cut the Jaguars roster, right? And
like Pete Prisco.
Well, and some of the guys that are in the media, they all try to figure out the Jaguars roster.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're looking at it from the perspective of, okay, let's look at one position. Let's say linebacker. Okay, who's the best linebackers to keep? Well, you look at who's the best linebackers to keep for the first and the second, and then probably the third player. But then after that, the fourth player, you start to weight special teams in that decision making. Now, you're definitely because your backups have to all play. But how good of you might keep a player who's actually better on special teams, but not as good of a linebacker, because the role he's going to fill is not as a starting linebacker. The role he's going to fill is as a core 4 special teams player. give you another example, like the safeties the Jaguars have. Let's look at that position, because I'm going to tell you, this is a position that's strong when it comes to special teams. Cisco and Rayshon Jenkins are going to have limited special teams exposure.
Because they're starting.
They're going to be playing every snap on defense, okay? Andrew Wingard, special teams core guy. Daniel Thomas, special teams core guy. Rudy Ford,
absolutely,
special teams core guy.
One of the best gunners in the league.
Here's another one that's an excellent special teams player, but then you start to you talk about numbers. How many can you keep? Rusnak. It's one of those guys that you'd love to keep because of special teams, but can you do it? Can you keep 2 starters and 4 backups four backups at that safety position? That you can't. So special teams always a factor, and me and you had this conversation today, and I was pointing something out to you.
Yeah, and this is what Heath Farwell actually talked about this last week also in his press conference. Yes.
Okay, when you want to find out who coaches really trust on special teams, look at who's playing on punt protection. I'm not saying the gunners, okay? I'm talking about the guys that prevent a block punt. Those are the guys that the special teams coordinator and the head coach trust, because a block punt by itself can lose you a game, no matter how good your offense and your defense is. You have to trust those guys to protect the punt. And when you are evaluating roster and you want to do that play at home general manager, take a look at who the special teams coach is playing on punt protection. And then the guys that you see on that first unit in preseason, those are the guys that he believes he can trust until they prove otherwise. And then in the second team unit as well, because there's only so many spots to play guys on punt protection, and you're going to trust the guys on punt protection. So that's like a little indicator for you.
I'd love to see the stats on how many what the record is when you have a punt blocked in a game, and
your win percentage. I want to say the win percentage, and I saw this stat somewhere. If you allow a score on special teams, or there was a stat for that, and there's another one for a blocked punt, the score on special teams, I want to say your chances of winning is like 20%.
Wow.
And then block punt, I want to say it ends up somewhere around your chances of winning are like 35 or 40%. It's not very good. It's something like that. It's all what do they call the number stuff?
The analytics.
The analytics of it all. Thank you, JP.
You're right.
I'm still getting with the
big analytics
program.
guy over here. Yeah. Logs. Big analytics guy.
Well, Tony Khan's got me. Him and I have actually talked about this, and there's a lot of numbers. I mean, for example, like when an offense gets the ball and they start, let's say, on the 20 to the 25. What's the percentage of scoring? And what's the percentages of scoring when they start at the 30 to the 35 or the 35 to the 40? The numbers just continue to grow exponentially when you're talking about the analytics of starting field position for an offense. It's crazy.
Let's come back in a moment. Our final thoughts ahead of the Steelers-Jaguars matchup this Saturday at the Bank. And this is the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates Frequent Shopper Clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the MyGate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
With the first pick in the 2022 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Duck Duck Rooter, the best plumbing and septic company in Florida.
Congratulations, Duck Duck Rooter. So tell us, how does it feel to be picked number one?
Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services is excited to announce we're a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help tackling any type of plumbing or septic issue, call our team of first-round draft picks for the win. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
Crown Royals That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who served this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal Promotion. Please drink responsibly.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
We're back. It's the Doug Pederson Show. J.P. Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, the Jaguars, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the old rivals.
Lots to look forward to in this game, J.P.
Like what?
Well, first of all, the one thing that I always look forward to at this point is Trevor Lawrence. You want to see progress. You want to see him starting to own the offense. And then with his new weapons that he has, Zay Jones has obviously been talked about a lot this week by Chris Taylor, and he's had a great camp so far. But this is going to be the debut for Jaguar fans for Christian Kirk, the prize free agent acquisition, who is an incredibly quarterback-friendly wide receiver. Looking forward to all of these guys playing together on offense. And then defensively, Trayvon Walker, I just can't take my eyes off of him. I mean, the guy – is fun to watch. He's strong, he's athletic. But then this week we got a matchup that consists of a couple more Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, that's right.
And that's Tyson Campbell and then the Pittsburgh Steelers second-round pick, Pickens.
George Pickens.
Pickens.
Yeah.
And everything that's being broadcast or reported out of Steelers camp is that this guy is ridiculous. In fact, Deontay Johnson was one of the guys that was singing his praises, saying this guy's phenomenal. Well, I can't wait to see the matchup of Tyson versus him. I hope we get it, because that's something that I would have my popcorn ready for.
I think Tyson would ask for it. Just
absolutely.
Knowing him,
even though Tyson doesn't flip sides.
Hey, he might that week. Who knows?
Yeah, but in preseason you're not doing any of that stuff. But and by the way, just another little side note here. Me and JP were at practice today, and we kind of hang out practice and talk with each other about practice and watch and
some other things.
We don't
too.
Gossip the whole time like Pete Prisco does at practice. We actually watch practice.
We're watching practice. That's what we do.
Logan Cook was ridiculous today.
If the Jaguars offense bogs down at midfield, well, he's probably going to put it inside the 5.
He put on a lesson in Canton, and then today in the drill, it was just effortless punting to where he was at midfield, and he literally is dropping the ball at the 3-yard line, inside the 5, inside the 10, every time. I was like, this is too easy for him.
That'll do it for our show tonight. Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, David Cho, Kate Waskey for Jeff Lageman. I'm J.P. Shadrick. We'll catch you next time. This has been the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio.